What's up, guys? I'm reviewing my first Paul Thomas Anderson movie, one battle after another, and I can't be more excited. So anyway, let's review. One Battle After Another stars Leonardo Dicaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, and is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Is that a he or a she or a they?
It's not that hard. They, them.
Okay, I just want to be polite.
What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new 2025 review. We're going to review One Battle After Another. I couldn't be more excited. I saw this, it was just a regular digital showing, which I wish I could have seen like the 70mm showing, but I don't think we have. I'm sure we do in Orlando, but I couldn't find one. So the movie's so great, though. Really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to diving into this. Boogie Nights happens to be one of my all-time favorite movies. I've watched it. You know, it's one of those movies I would watch like every year, alongside movies like Goodfellas, Fight Club, you know, some of our favorites, right? Paul Thomas Anderson is, you know, I think in a small handful of current directors, one of the best. You know, you put him right up there with Quentin Tarantino, David Fincher, that generation of directors. Call them the Gen X directors. He's definitely, you know, as far as being a one of the most creative directors ever. He's definitely up there. I don't love every one of his movies, and I will say that some of his movies can be on the long side, but I don't mind that. I mean, look at Tarantino. A lot of Tarantino's movies are pretty long, but they still happen to be some of the greatest movies ever made, okay? One Battle After Another is that movie. So let's give you a quick plot synopsis. Honestly, it's a pretty simple plot. You got these like freedom fighters or whatever you want to call them, and it's really an evil versus evil type movie. That's kind of the way I look at it, because I think these directors, like Scorsese, like Quentin Tarantino, they love to focus on characters that happen to be maybe criminals, you know. That's why some of my favorite movies are like in the crime world, right? And that's sort of what this is. And they really have this message that they're trying to get across, right? They want to, I don't know if they want a better world, or maybe they just want to create havoc just for the fun of it. But yeah, that's what they do. And then on the other side of that, you have the government, and Sean Penn being a key player in that. But he happens to be part of an organization that has different ideals than he does, at least in terms of, I'll just say it, interracial relationship. He's got a Jones for brown sugar. And that plays a key part in this, because it ends up causing him to go down a really bumpy road along the way. Leonardo freaking DiCaprio. This might be one of his best performances I've ever seen. I've never seen Leo like this, and I think the guy just loves to challenge himself by taking on different types of characters. I've watched interviews with him about this particular character, because you're definitely going to draw comparisons to the dude from the Big Lebowski, but he definitely puts his own spin on it. But he plays this character named Bob. He is sort of a bomb maker. He's part of the resistance at the beginning of the movie. And his girlfriend or wife, I can't remember if they are actually married or not. Perfidia, played by Tiana Taylor. This was a phenomenal actress. Really, I'm just going to stop saying that, okay? Because every actor in this movie, they are swinging for the fences. They are amazing. But they have this daughter by the name of Willa, played by newcomer Chase Infinity, who is also incredible. And it's amazing to me that this young actress, first role, and she's having to trade lines with greats like Leonardo DiCaprio and Benicio del Toro. But Perfidia is not a good mother. She abandons her daughter, and so Bob, who isn't the best father, is left to take care of his daughter. And because he has his own challenges with being a father, at least he's there. But there's definitely this tug of war between him and Willa, who seems to be more together. And I think that does happen sometimes when you have a child that comes from a really rough upbringing, but somehow they still have their shit together, because we all have different pasts, different struggles. And it's amazing to me how somebody can pull themselves out of a horrible upbringing. And that's what this character does. And I know I said I didn't want to talk too much more about the acting just because it's implied that they're so good, but I do have to mention Sean Penn. He will probably get nominated for an Oscar. He's another actor that really reinvents himself with every role. Check out Carlito's Way if you haven't. I believe he was nominated for an Oscar for that role, and you know, he's just a chameleon. I think he really loves to just jump out of his own skin, I guess, and become the character. And I think Sean Penn, even though we all know he's a great actor, I still think he's a little underrated because he's a guy that not only gives an amazing performance and changes himself, but also physically. He's not afraid to change his body up, much like Christian Bale does, and he gets like ripped in this movie. Looks like a soldier type guy, right? Now, for a movie that is 2 hours and 40 minutes, it might be the fastest moving movie of that runtime I have ever seen. I think everything is scripted perfectly. I think every beat in the movie is there for a reason. And I think there's no dry spots whatsoever. Everything needs to be there. And it's just, kind of a vast story just because it takes place in two different time periods as well. Because Willa is a baby at the beginning of the movie. And then she's eventually, I think, 16 years old in like the second half of the movie. Or maybe even like the second 2/3 of the movie. I don't know. I always forget how gifted Paul Thomas Anderson is because I don't watch all of his movies all of the time. And like I said, they're not all for me. Like The Master is another one that I do need to revisit. But as far as like Boogie Nights and There Will Be Blood, those two I think are just masterpieces. And Magnolia. But it seems like every time I watch a PTA movie, there's like a gap between the next time I watch. And I forget his specific signature, and he definitely has one. There's a little bit of a Scorsese element when you watch his movies, but it's still different enough that it's his own brand, and he definitely is a music guy. His scores in his movies are so uncharacteristic and just very unique, and sometimes even like comedic. And, he's not afraid to like stretch out a whole sequence, like 30 minutes with this just very weird piano rendition that almost sounds like somebody that doesn't know how to play the piano and they're just like randomly hitting keys, but somehow it freaking works. He's just one of those directors that keeps the movie interesting, just because of the way it's directed, and you can't take your eyes off the screen, and you never know what you're gonna feel. One minute you are like terrified of what's going on, then the next minute you are just rolling in laughter, and then the next minute it's pretty heartfelt, and that's his strength. He can handle any emotion. As far as the comedy goes, Leonardo DiCaprio with this character Bob, I think he has created one of the most unique and funny characters of, like, say, the last 10 years. And I think this is a character that, you might see memes of this character down the road just because of how fun he is to watch. And he really does steal every scene. And there's a lot of this movie that doesn't have Leonardo DiCaprio. He's in the movie enough. He's still the main star. But just because there's so many different moving parts here, there's going to be times where you're like, oh, where's Leo? I haven't seen him in a while. Oh, boom. Then he pops up and then you're rolling again. He is just freaking hilarious in this movie. There is one scene that, I'll just say this. It's a chase scene and you got these parkour guys that are so far advanced physically than Bob. And I won't spoil what happens, but it is the funniest moment of the year for me. I could not contain the laughter when I was watching this scene. The theater just erupted. It is freaking hilarious. And if you've seen the movie, you know the scene I'm talking about. I was just rolling during that scene. Last thing I will say, oh my God, and this is the elephant in the room. This movie definitely is going to rub some people the wrong way, okay? And this is from your own perspective when you're watching the movie. I saw everybody in this movie as kind of, scumbags. Just different types of scumbags. But I can see how some people will say they're trying to make one side of the political spectrum look bad and one look good. And yeah, I think they do that. But I have that weird ability to push aside my own personal beliefs and just be entertained when I'm watching a movie, especially if it's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, okay? And if that director wants to maybe push a little bit of his own political beliefs in the movie, as long as I'm entertained, have at it. I don't have to agree with everything that's being expressed in the movie, okay? And it is expressed. I'm not going to lie, all right? It's definitely there. But I still had a blast with the freaking movie. I didn't leave mad or anything, all right? Again, I think this is evil versus evil. That's the way I look at this movie. I think the character that looks the best here is Willa. Chase Infinity, I think, nails that character. She is the most innocent in the movie, and you couldn't help but root for her. So yeah, this is definitely one of the best movies of the year. Trapped on an Island for sure. It's not every day you get a new Paul Thomas Anderson movie. So let me know what you guys think of one battle after another in the comments. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, we do FIFA on Fridays. Follow me, Drumdums, on my social support me on Patreon. Become a channel member. Buy me coffee. You know, guys, thank you so much for watching every day. And Drumdum out.